Hello, everyone. And on our podcast show this week, we would like to wish you all a wonderful, happy Chinese New Year. Year of the Dragon is this year, and we hope that everyone had a restful and welcoming and prosperous time with your friends and family for everyone that celebrates it with us. So for this week, we wanted to touch on something that is related to Chinese New Year, the Year of the Dragon, which is health.
Yeah, health.
And one aspect is, of course, our physical health. And one smaller aspect of that is running, which is something that in the last couple years, people have been just blowing away human performance records, especially in the marathon. Let me just quote something to you here. So I've never been a huge running person or anything like that until recently because I just wanted to take care of my health and everything. And we touched on some of the ways that we've done that in a previous show where we talked about the fitness tech that you'll need to know about for 2024 if you want to get back into shape. But one thing that I took up is running. And I was so amazed by some of these records. So let's just explore one. Usain Bolt.
Yeah.
We all know him. He's the fastest man alive, and he still is. With a record time in the 100 meter of 9.58 seconds to run that length. Do you know how far away that is? That is incredible. 0.1 of a kilometer.
If you think about it, that's like almost 10 meters per second.
That is crazy. He's like a rocket, like almost like a rocket. Literally. But even more impressive is the willpower and the stamina and just the pure mental focus that it takes to run a marathon. Now, the average human runs it in 4 hours.
Yeah, that's about right. It could be longer.
Right?
Yeah.
Usually longer. Some people have to walk it. But to be able to walk 42 kilometers, 26 miles roughly, that's a long way to go.
Well,
that's a long way to go.
Apparently, you can't just do it right away. You need training. Definitely training before, even your body training.
Yeah. So, mental, physical, and also conditioning is required. A Kenyan like Kipchoge, he last year ran a marathon. I don't have the exact time. It's just like a minute over 2 hours. 2 hours and 1 minute and some odd seconds.
That's crazy.
To run an entire marathon. When an average human can run it in a reasonable average pace of 4 hours.
4 hours, yeah.
Like that's how many movies is that? That's 3 in-flight movies. He runs it in one long movie. He runs it in one Titanic.
Oh, by the way,
basically,
it's not a jog. He's actually running.
He's hoofing it, man. It's 42 kilometers, like a golf cart. On a golf cart, I think goes like 20 kilometers an hour or something like that. He's running faster than an e-bike. He's running faster than a golf cart. He's running faster than modes of transportation that we as humans use as the last mile form of transportation. That's fast.
Even if you're biking it, it takes longer than 3 hours.
But these two athletes have one thing in common. It's their shoes. So on our podcast show, of course, we're going to be talking about some of the state-of-the-art tech in footwear.
Yeah.
And we're going to figure out what's trickling down from these super shoes that have constantly been banned because they're afraid that the next record will only be accomplished with shoes. But there's also another part to this. There is apparently a conspiracy by the footwear industry to bind our feet to shoes that are over-cushioned, over-structured. And we'll talk about that a little bit, and we'll see on which side that you guys are on this. Maybe there's a happy medium. We don't know, but we'll discuss that as well too. But first, the state of running shoe tech.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell me more.
So running shoes have gotten so light, so stripped down that they are literally nothing on your feet. All they do is hold cushions to the bottom of your feet that propel you forward in the top end marathon shoes. So they're using lighter foams with nitrogen infusion. So nitrogen basically allows the foam to puff up to way more than its capacity using less material, right? They're also using different concentrations of this to mold the shoe's form so that when you bounce, when you kick down, when you bounce down, when you strike, it bounces you forward because of the different layers of foam that they use. It is so intricate. The science, this type of science is actually truly amazing, and it's weird and wacky. But the other things too is that they're putting F1 racing technology into these shoes. Like it's like a car almost, because they have carbon plates. Now we know that carbon fiber is used in F1 racing. Yeah, it's used all over the place to lighten the load, but also to provide resilience and flexibility to lots of parts of the vehicle, right? They're using this technology woven a certain way to propel the runner forward. As soon as they strike and they push their toes off, boing,
yeah,
they go forward.
I've seen some sneakers. They have Continental and Dunlop and what's the other one? Michelin rubbers, soles.
Well, get this.
Oh.
They don't have any sole. Some of the top end types of running marathon shoes don't even have a rubber sole. They are so light that they've removed that part of it because it's a racing shoe only. Okay. So there's no rubber. It's basically foam, nitrogen infused at different densities to provide durability enough for a 42-kilometer race, right?
Yeah, that's
and
crazy.
you may only be able to get half the life of a regular running shoe, which usually lasts for 500 to 750 kilometers.
So you're telling me these running shoes will only last certain period? If you wear them, it won't last as long as a ordinary pair of sneakers.
They're your racing shoes.
So
they're the shoes that you put on when you are going to go for your PBs and PRs.
Right. So it's almost like going in for cars. You have racing tires, and if you go racing on them, they wear down really quick, right?
Oh yeah,
So-
definitely. Or you're racing your track day car, and then your regular commuter vehicle, right? Or F1 vehicle, where they literally build you into the vehicle, and then after you're done, they build you out of it. Some of these shoes, the uppers and everything like that, they're so thin that I don't know if this is still true, but you might actually have to consider a new pair of shoes after, because you've worn through them. They're so thin. Okay, this might be an early type of issue, but they are not meant to last that long, because they are built specifically for lightweight to get you from point A to point B as quick as possible and feel like absolutely nothing.
Right.
Your race day shoes, and the amount of rebound and everything is built to just push you forward.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
This is the evolution of the running shoe. This is what they look like right now. But one thing that has not changed is the pointed toe.
Okay. Well, your feet is going to be pointed anyway, right?
Well, your feet aren't pointed.
Yeah.
Have you looked at your feet lately?
They're
They're not that shape. We'll get to more of that later. But this has this type of shoe. Like, we always go from racing to regular shoes.
Right.
Like, even the Toyota Corolla goes racing to figure out what trickles down to give more gas economy and everything like that. NASCAR, right? You got fuel economy. You got to turn left or right for ever many laps. F1 racing.
Yeah.
This is all technology that trickles down to our regular shoes. And one area that people have really gravitated towards in terms of running shoes and walking shoes is actually what's called the maximal shoe.
Maximal.
So you ever see these shoes out there, and they're very recognizable, but it looks like you're walking on a bunch of marshmallows. The sole is so high that you literally grow 2 inches. Or an inch, right?
Yeah, I've seen those. Yeah.
This is the trend right now. Maximal running shoes. Okay. Now, this was something that I touched on in our last podcast about tech. Is that a company called Hoka?
Right.
It's the French. Like, they came from France. They were employees of Solomon, who everyone knows, and they wanted to create a shoe that ran downhill for ultra marathons. And they had a different philosophy about doing things. They wanted us to stack as much foam as possible into these shoes so that it would feel like pillows as you're running 100 kilometers in a day.
But then also you need the grip, don't you? Because balance and grip and that kind of stuff as well.
So they actually built these shoes to have that optimal balance of not only like a whole pillow underneath your feet, but there was also structure to it. And their shoes, their first shoe called the Hoka 1-1.
Right.
You'll see that the sole is like squirting out of the back of it looks weird. Because the sole is no longer under your foot, the sole is all over the shoe, right?
Oh, so you have a better
sample.
So you have better grip.
I don't have their shoes because I can't wear them, but look at the heel on the shoe. This is actually modeled after their first shoe.
Okay, that's a Hoka.
This is a Hoka sandal.
Okay.
So you can see how my foot sits here, but there's all this butt.
Oh, it's almost wrapped around your feet.
Wrapped around, okay?
Right.
This sole has structure, believe it or not. This is what they call a recovery sandal. And
Yeah.
I love wearing these around the house because they're so squishy, but they still have some structure to it.
Yeah.
So this is kind of the...
So if you
way that
spread all the foam out, you have a wider surface area, which means more grip, right?
More cushion,
more grip,
more
yeah.
structure, more structured,
Yeah.
more stability.
More stability, yeah. Yeah.
In a really cushiony, marshmallowy way.
Yeah.
And we know how the French have a flair for the dramatic. They like fashion and everything like that. So these have also become a fashion shoe because even Kanye likes to build shoes that all puff out and everything, like weird, right?
Yeah, Yeezys,
right?
They're not cheap.
They're not cheap. And Hoka, they come in weird, wacky colors.
Yeah.
Like this is kind of, they have basically taken the whole running shoe industry and have actually made it so that puffy, colorful shoes are like, this is fashion.
Yeah. Oh well, actually, if you actually put those on and you wear it with ordinary other sandals, you feel the difference, right? In terms of
This sandal compared to your mom's sandal that hits you in the head, this is much lighter.
yeah, later. Okay.
This is much lighter, right? There's a lot more cushion in it. There's even tread.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I like wearing these around the house.
Okay.
All right. So this type of philosophy has trickled down to every shoe brand. So Hoka has made everyone create maximal shoes. Like you used to see New Balance. New Balance now has fresh foam. This is their version of it. You have Adidas. They're building like Yeezys, right?
Yeah.
Like that type of philosophy. You've got Nike also doing maximal cushioning types of
Yeah.
shoes. Everyone's basically following the lead of this one little company that is now based in Riverside, California.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So this trend has come and everything's getting just fatter, right? Just more cushion,
Yeah.
more plushness.
Fat soles.
Fat soles, right? And is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Well,
I originally thought these fat soles were for fashion because when like sneakers have a fashion phase, right, from different periods or different eras and I thought it was just a fashion phase, and I thought, well, these shoes just look up these fat soles, they don't really look that good, but someone must be wearing them.
Someone is.
And then I started seeing Adidas, Nike, and other brands starting to do these fat soles.
and they all came from Hoka.
All right.
They all came from Hoka. This kind of design philosophy where everyone's like, I want more cush, I want more plushness, I want to run like I'm on clouds. This is where it all came from.
But with that said, is that actually benefit the athlete or the person wearing it? Does it actually improve their running or help them with their running?
That's TBD. I mean, a lot of people that don't run often find benefit in these shoes because they give a certain level of comfort. If you're not going for, a lot of, if you're just a part-time runner, you'll get a lot of benefit because it doesn't hurt you as much. For experienced runners, from what I hear is that, yes, they give you easy miles, but they don't give you the explosive kick that you need for speed. So if you're just plodding along and just getting time on feet,
Right.
Something like that makes a big difference. And there's also in this space, even companies like you mentioned about foot shape, right? These marathon racing shoes have this foot shape, which is like pointed, right?
Okay.
Now, we know that shape isn't actually a natural shape. Feet don't look like that. In fact, this can be traced back all the way back to colonial times where, if you're an aristocrat, your shoes are super pointed and they go way out there, right?
Pointed shoes.
The longer your pointed shoes, the more status you have.
Yeah.
And in China, what they used to do with the noble women, they would actually keep them. This is a sort of a. It's kind of weird.
Oh, they bound their feet.
They bound their feet so they couldn't run away.
And it makes their feet shape all weird, like
Little elephant feet, right?
Yeah.
And when you look at that, it's so unnatural, right? So binding feet, getting them out in the natural form has been a part of world culture for the longest time, right?
Yeah.
And because of this, we take away our natural ability to run, to be healthy, and like just normal feet. I mean, let's think about it this way. If you look at any of the indigenous tribes or any people that run without feet on any of these islands, native populations, they don't really complain about foot problems, do they?
They just
do
barefooted.
their thing, right?
Just barefooted, right?
Or they put leaves on their feet if they're running through cactuses, or I don't know, right? But the bottom line is that these people seem pretty happy. There's tribes in Peru, in parts of I think in South America where they're not in shoes, and it doesn't bother them.
No.
Why?
Because well, apparently they have a connection, natural connection, I guess, with the earth, the ground. But apparently, if you're barefooted and you actually walk around barefooted on with a field or pavement, whatever, it actually earths you. It's earthing, yeah. Actually, because your body's all, like you pull off a jumper or sweater and it's got that static electricity everywhere.
Yes.
Well, apparently, if you wear nothing barefooted, it actually helps you ground yourself.
Yeah, there's talk about that. And this is where we get into something called the barefoot cult.
Oh, okay.
Right? So I was on the internet one day and I discovered that there's people out there that think that the footwear industry is a huge conspiracy.
For what?
To control people, to get their money, to
pay them dollars.
To pay them dollars for the binding of their feet in these fashion shoes when you can be free. Well, it's weird. Okay.
I just thought, well, dollars I understand, because I remember way back, maybe it's inflation, I don't know, when we were kids, $50, $60 for a sneakers was expensive. Now, fuck me, it's like $250, $300 for a sneakers now.
Yeah.
Right now.
And our parents used to buy shoes that were way too big for us, which actually might have done us some favors because it allowed our feet to stretch in the shoes.
They buy an extra size.
So this is the argument from the barefoot crew, is that the barefoot cult says that no shoe should be binding your feet. No shoe should be trying to misshapen your foot. Your feet should be natural in their natural state.
Okay.
Right? So, and that's it. So they'll walk barefoot all over the place with their man buns and whatever. Okay.
Man buns
and whatever, right? So this is kind of the far side of things. This is kind of like, these are the natural people. They're like, I'm going to be like, native indigenous tribes, and I'm just going to be barefoot all day long, right? There's some merit to that, but I think that in our modern world, I think that we need to strike a balance, right? Because we have pavement. We have unnatural surfaces.
Yeah.
We're not walking on grass all day. We're not walking on dirt all day. There must be something that is middle ground. Okay?
True. I mean, I think you need to wear something. I mean, it protects your feet, and especially in cold weather and it's wet or raining or whatever.
And also, you're not eating out because no shoes, no shirt, no service.
If you're going out in the mountains to hike and it's a snowy, wet kind of season, we're not going to go barefoot. You're going to be, with your Timberlands. You're going to be with your boots, snow boots and stuff like that. If frostbite.
You're going to get frostbite. Okay. So depending on the climate, it's not practical. And these people are just kind of like, they're not quite all there. But there is a happy medium.
Yeah.
There are people out there that understand that, the mechanics of the foot, very important.
Yeah.
You've got to spread them out. You've got to have anatomically correct feet that actually are not pointed, because our feet are not pointed. When you look at them, when you realize that they're not pointed, there's reasons why we were built the way that we were built.
And apparently everybody, their shoe sizes or their feet, left and right, are actually different.
They are different sizes.
They're not the same. It's never identical. Impossible.
No. Yeah.
So your left and right feet is always different.
Yes.
So
then that's kind of part of why when we build shoes that are more anatomically correct, we start to heal. We start to get better. Like kids have soft feet. They're not formed or anything like that, but they don't care. They run around and they're very happy. No foot problems until we start to put shoes on our feet. Right?
That's right. And back in the day where we have shoemakers, that's the whole point. People used to make shoes that fit correctly per foot because they're different. And of course, that industry is kind of dying. You might see some shoemakers.
There are some shoe repair shops. They're not making shoes. They're in the repair business, but they still have the skill to do that. But you're right, more rare. Yeah. So in the world where these barefoot people have kind of come to their senses, there is a whole marketplace called barefoot or minimal shoes. Okay. So these people have figured out, look, we're not going to run around with bare feet. It's not going to work. Not in our world, right? We got pavement. We got, like depending on where we are, we've got needles and poop on the ground. And it's not nice to walk into some of these places like that. So we have something. So I'm going to give you an example. Here is a regular shoe.
Okay.
Okay. This one's actually better than most because it's actually not completely pointed.
Okay.
This is a wide. So I wear wide shoes because I want the toe box.
Okay. So wide in the front there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wide throughout.
Wide throughout. Okay.
This is a shoe, and I'll talk about this again. This is a shoe that has a toe box that is anatomically correct.
It's quite wide.
It looks like your foot.
It's wide.
Look at the sole.
Okay.
It's like your foot. So this type of shoe is becoming a little bit more popular because people are realizing that their feet shouldn't be pointed.
Okay.
Here's a side by side. Yeah, look. Here, there you go. Look.
Yeah. Look how wide that is. Look how sharp my pointed ear.
So your foot.
This is a Nike, by the way.
So your foot looks like this, not like that. And even this is different, right? So these companies have come out and they've realized that people need shoes that actually work for them, but give them that ground feeling.
Yeah.
And also, if you think about it, any shoe with foam, get this is something I learned a long, long time ago, is that if I run on a shoe, I shouldn't be walking in it because two wear patterns are completely different.
Right.
Because when I walk, I would tend to roll off my heel. When I run, I tend to forefoot strike.
Yeah. If you're always going forward, right?
Yeah.
So
so the running shoe, in becoming a walking shoe, should be a walking shoe, and the running shoe should be a running shoe. And it's the reason why is because the foam packs down in a certain way that optimizes for either function, right? The benefit of having these minimal shoes is that there is no foam.
This is
called
a
Barefoot minimal shoe. This is made by a company called Vivo Barefoot.
Okay.
And the shape, as you can see.
Yeah.
Now this shoe.
Oh, you can just squish it up.
Is completely. It's got 3 or 4 millimeters of rubber on them.
But is it comfortable when you're running it?
Well, this is the thing. You have to kind of work your way back up to it because we've been in cushion shoes for so long. Right.
Okay.
And and there's some merit to this is that our bodies are no longer adapted to do this. We can readapt ourselves by wearing these shoes on a regular basis. Maybe not running initially because we'll be in pain. But if you put these shoes as walking shoes and you relearn your stride, eventually you can run in them. And that's a good thing, right?
Take a look.
Yeah. Now, another brand called Zero, this shoe company has a more outspoken CEO. He's a little bit controversial sometimes because he's a little more controversial, right? But his shoe, also very good, also very minimal.
Okay.
And the reason why these are great is because there's no foam, you can run these shoes for 1,000 to 2,000 kilometers because there's nothing to pack in.
So, for example, if you go into travels, people relate to travel, they may not relate to running travels. Do you think one of these be good just for traveling?
If you travel a lot and you want to travel light and you've kind of adapted yourself to walk and run in barefoot shoes, absolutely, because there's nothing there, right? There's nothing there. You can actually pack, check this out. I can pack 3 pairs of these shoes in the same space as a regular runner. This runner does not fold. It's got so much structure, it does not fold. And these runners are at max 650 to 750 kilometers. These types of shoes, because there's no padding at all, until the sole wears completely, you can get a couple thousand kilometers in them. So here's the rub. These types of shoes, even though they look like there's nothing to them, they actually cost a little bit more than normal shoes. This Vivo Barefoot is an all-weather version. They come in different kinds.
All-weather meaning waterproof or water-resistant?
Water-resistant. This shoe retails for about, depending on where you are, 270 Canadian.
Wow.
Right. So you're talking about Yeezy territory sometimes, right? Or even Jordan territory. A shoe like this is more affordable. The Zero is about 170.
Okay.
But considering that you can get 4 times the amount of wear out of them almost, you've actually saved some money.
Yeah.
And you've one thing that I noticed is that
you can just put these in the washing machine.
You can actually, yeah.
You can.
Okay. You can totally. Like it's so soft.
Certain sneakers you can't because they just the sole would just.
There's nothing here.
All right.
So you could wash these, right? And one thing that I kind of learned about this, and I'm not promoting this. This is something that you're going to have to kind of make a journey of your own. Is that with your running shoes, if you have knee problems, and this is kind of what people are worried about. Knees don't grow back.
No,
they don't.
They just wear down.
They wear down. But the muscles around them can support the knee and give it the lift that it needs. So over the last couple months, since November, I tried something that was really, actually, I didn't realize that it was not controversial. That was not weird. And it was the reason why I bought a treadmill is because I could never do this at the gym. Is I actually warmed up for 10 minutes completely barefooted because I have plantar fasciitis, which is most people with flat feet. It hurts to put your feet in shoes and run. So I would warm my feet up barefooted because you can't do that in the gym.
All right. Whatever exercise you do, make sure you warm up because without warming up, you could be susceptible to damage. If you have a damaged whatever part of your body, it takes weeks to heal. So make sure you warm up first, light exercises, stretching, stuff like that. So tell me, if you're running with this one versus the other one, which one do you normally run on the treadmill? You use?
Now, I can run this shoe or this shoe.
Okay.
So let me get to that point where I was saying knees.
Okay.
When I ran in this shoe, it was fine and everything, but you do get a little bit more impact on your joints if you don't adapt your running style. It took me a little while to adapt the running style to make it work for me so that I'm using other muscles that are supporting my knee rather than bashing my knee into the ground.
Right.
This shoe, the way that you walk and run in this shoe, promoted muscle soreness rather than knee soreness.
Okay. So you're working your muscles rather than
you're working your
joints.
muscles.
Okay.
Remember, there's no heel. So you're actually working your calf and your Achilles and and that gets a little bit more sore because you're dropping your heel. Right? Remember when I was talking about drops in that other episode?
Oh, yeah.
This made it so that I could actually work other muscles on days after I ran this shoe, which used other muscles. So the combination of this shoe, and I'm not saying run in one and not the other, actually made it so that I was running lighter on this shoe and running faster.
Oh.
So
you're training, basically you're training your leg muscles on this one.
I'm cross-training my muscles to support, to take the emphasis away from my knee.
Okay.
And I didn't realize that was kind of what I was doing until I realized that when I started running on these shoes and I adapted that same, because you're not striking your heels on this. There's no padding, right?
Right.
So I actually started to run and roll. When I adapted it to this shoe, holy crap, my cadence went way up.
Okay.
So think about it this way. When you increase your cadence, you actually run faster by default.
Yeah, because you need to...
more steps.
More steps, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And because there's studies done, the higher your cadence, the more efficient you are. I was just running faster because I was just better at running. So it was kind of a weird transition to kind of see this technology, right? It's like, this has all the technology, the nitrogen-infused, like the engineered upper and everything. And then, but what I really needed to was a little bit of barefoot.
Yeah.
And a little bit of shoe with a little bit of grip so that I could actually run on a treadmill and actually learn a technique of running that our ancestors used to run like.
That's right. Yeah. Again, everybody's different with their body types. The style that he's running or Steven's running may be different to what I'm style of running is. My style of running.
This takes a long time to adapt to. Like, I only discovered that I was kind of moving in this direction when I started warming up on a treadmill barefoot. If you are in a gym, you are not allowed to do that.
Oh, no.
You have to own the treadmill. So if you own your treadmill, and you want to, like you've got plantar fasciitis, you've got foot pain before you run, maybe one of the things that you can do is maybe walk for 10 minutes before you lace up your shoes and put on your socks. And that actually helped me a lot because, man, my feet hurt so much that I didn't think that I would be able to last as a runner. But holy moly, now I'm 15 pounds down 2 months later. And
wow,
I'm
congrats.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So I'm 15 pounds down and I'm in normal running shoes. I'm running so much faster. And now with these in there, I'm working different muscles on the days that I'm not running in this shoe. So I can actually run twice as much because I'm constantly rotating these types of shoes because I'm using different muscles. It's almost like a really great cross training.
Yeah, it's like, when you have your gym days, leg day, and then you move on to leg day, you do your chest and arms, and then backs and tries, and that type of different muscle groups.
And because you're taking the emphasis off your knees, you're building the muscles around the supporting stuff. Like I ache in different places when I run in different shoes.
Oh yeah.
So that's good, right? You're actually tearing those muscles, rebuilding them in a way that supports your knees. And I've actually increased my knee health as a result of that. Like there's no doubt about it that my knees are way better supported now than they were because I have thousands of kilometers as a ex bike racer, and my knees are not undamaged. I know that they used to click a lot, but like it's this. I have to say that because I'm older, I tend to be a little bit more mindful of my body, and it was the patience of being able to say, "Hey, this helps too. This helps too," and the wisdom of being able to kind of look through the crazy people that are like, you got to be barefoot all the time. You got to have a man bun versus, like, hey, you know what? You don't need to have a man bun or bare feet. You can kind of wear these middle shoes and kind of, get grounded back to the ground and learn how to run like you were when you were a kid. And then adapt that to the shoes that you're used to now. Yeah. Which is really weird.
What I found was when I was actually wearing, I won't say wrong type of sneakers. I was wearing certain sneakers a day in, day out. And I didn't really had time to kind of like change different types or look into different types. It turns out then while I was wearing those, I had a lot of problems with my foot and I had corns, they were hurting and stuff like that.
Weird, right?
But then I switched it up. I only wear certain sneakers certain days, and then I was barefooted at my old flat or apartment.
Yeah.
While I was in my apartment, I was barefooted all day long.
Yep.
When I go out, I wear certain types of trainers then, and it was a balance between that, and then slowly over a couple of weeks to about a month or so, my corn problem started to go away, which I'm thinking, well, that proves a point, is that you don't wear the same type of sneakers if it's causing you problems. If you're having problems like that, then switch it up, change it. Be barefooted for certain parts of the day, wear certain different types of sneakers if you can, see if it helps with the problem. So,
I think fundamentally is that these barefoot people in the shoe industry, they're not working against you. They're trying to give you the most benefit. But you have, in order for you to maximize your athleticism, whatever you have, even if it's just to get back into shape, lose a few pounds, be more healthy in between those gaming sessions or whatever, right? And we're all gamers. We like gadgets and everything like that, but we still need to take care of our bodies. The best gadget is our bodies, and the fact that we have all this technology available to cushion ourselves for max performance, but we can't forget that as humans, we walk a certain way naturally, and because our physical world is no longer grass and dirt, this is a good technology as well too. I know that this shoe has like this puncture resistant membrane.
Oh,
inside here. So if you step on nails or cactuses, it's okay. It's like,
because you do pavement wise, there are sometimes a lot of broken glass. That's so dangerous.
This is okay for that.
Okay.
So the minimal shoe industry has figured out that this technology is necessary. They don't necessarily promote it because they're promoting the lifestyle of getting back in the feet. And that's kind of weird. So if if you're not ready to spend money on stuff like this, you've already got a pair of these shoes. Spend a little bit more time in your feet. Like I didn't even realize I was doing this, but I just warmed up in my bare feet.
Yeah, definitely warm up.
Do all your warm ups in your bare feet. The other thing too is that if you do have the money to spend and you want to you don't want to go full minimal. You might have some knee problems that are already existing, but you need some cushion. You want a more anatomical foot shape.
Yeah.
And you also want to be able to experience, just more of that kind of feel without getting hurt, because it's going to take you a while. It's not an overnight thing, even if you're young. So I found these shoes kind of in the in-between. This is a company called Ultra. Not a lot of people have heard of this brand because they make shoes that have a certain shape.
Yeah.
They are foot shaped, right? This is wide, but this is the shape of your foot.
Yeah, it's wide.
Right? And this is what they call, even though this looks like it's a lot of foam, it's actually a zero drop shoe. So this height and this height are actually the same.
Okay. I see what you mean. Yeah.
So if you compare this shoe and this shoe together, inside, the heights, front to back of both shoes are actually
very similar.
Stable.
Okay.
But this shoe has more foam on it. So if you're nursing a bad knee or something like this might be a good way for you to work those other muscles that are in supporting your leg. So just like how this shoe makes my other muscles ache, this shoe will also make those same muscles ache differently, right? So it's kind of like, like getting your feet wet into the space by working those other muscles so that you can move yourself down to something like this.
Yeah.
Right? I wrote now because of I've learned these things. I've rotated all these shoes so that every time I go out, if I'm aching this certain place, I know that I should wear the other shoes.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
It's like, if it's a wet day, you change it to a more kind of water resistant sneakers or footwear. Yeah. And if it's a dry day, you wear certain lighter, more breathable material. So make it a habit. So if you said if you certain muscles ache at certain parts of your body, you have different shoes to kind of like wear.
And
what are these?
A couple kind of nice accessory things. If you're not fully ready to get into, I wash these by the way. If you're not fully ready,
put your
see, normal shoes.
Okay.
Mash your toes together.
Okay.
So in order for your toes to return to their natural shape, they kind of need help these days. So these are actually toe spacers.
Toe spacers.
Yeah.
I didn't know they existed.
They exist big time. Okay. What you do with these is if these are cheaper than buying a pair of shoes. So if you just want to feel that comfort, walk around your house and
they protect your little toes.
They don't protect. They separate them. Because they're all mashed together.
But you wear those before you put your socks on, is that right?
You can do that. Some people do. But what I do is that at night, I'll just put these on.
Barefooted?
Okay. And in the morning when I wake up, I look at my toes. It's like, oh, hey, there's space in between them. That's kind of neat. And that's the way it's supposed to be, right? If you want to wear them, wear shoes, and you want that, because even socks, really high quality athletic socks, some of them, they don't stretch very well.
Okay.
You can also wear socks that are
toe socks. I thought one time, they were gimmicky stuff.
Yeah.
Like
they used to be until people realized that if you wore socks that have separation, you don't get blisters between your toes. But you have to cut your nails, so you have to be a little bit more hygienic than the normal socks. You're right. Okay. So I started wearing these inside my barefoot shoes and my regular shoes, and what I did notice is that I do have more flexibility in my toes. Yeah, this is going to be great for the foot fetish people here. Sorry,
foot fetish.
But I mean, feet are very important. They keep you up all day. You're on them.
That's it.
You're all the time. All day, You're standing, especially in retail. My retail brothers and sisters, you're on your feet all day long. You need to be able to endure. And putting yourselves into pointy shoes is probably not the way for you to have great foot health, especially if you want to be exercising after your shift. Like when I was running, I was much lighter during my days, I used to run to work 4 kilometers and then run home 4 kilometers from my work.
Yeah.
And that's after standing all day long. I can't do that anymore.
No.
Right? Because I'm old. So I just hope that maybe some of this information, checking out like, hey, there's shoes that look like this. There's shoes that look like this. There's shoes that actually fit my foot. I don't have to cram myself into a pair of D with Nikes.
Yeah.
Might open your eyes a little bit and just kind of give you that comfort that you need to accelerate your fitness, because every morning when you wake up, if your feet hurt, you're not going to want to jump on the treadmill. You're not going to want to go for that walk. You're just going to want to roll out of bed and get to work as fast as possible. And we want you to actually fit in that little workout, that little walk. So, and because this gadget, are gadgets, this is the most important computer in all the land. And these are the accessories that help move that. We got to take care of that. And
true.
Feet first.
Yeah. What I don't like is it's like a lot of the big brands like Nike, Adidas, Reebok, and New Balance and all that kind of stuff. They don't actually make these type of shoes as much anymore.
Don't do it anymore, but they do call them something different. And I just want to kind of maybe point this out, is that some in the Nike name, they're called trainer shoes.
Right.
Trainer shoes. So they're gym trainer shoes that have minimal amount of foam in them.
Okay.
Less heel. Okay. This is not this, but it gets you more to the ground, because when you lift heavy weights, you want to be able to push off without that mush.
Yeah.
Right?
If you're doing weights, stuff like that, yeah, true. And I've seen some running shoes which are like that, but they're very specialized in that kind of area, and you probably get like 5% specialized kind of shoes for that kind of sport, and then the rest of it is all fashion.
Or it's all maximal shoes with this, you know, like the mush and everything like that. So the industry has gone this way or this way, but the industry is also pushing back, because Ultra hasn't been like, in the big scheme of things, they're not like Nike-ish. We've also got stuff that looks like this. So somewhere in between is going to be footwear with the technology that you need, with the foams and nitrogen-infused foams that you need to kind of get the foot shape, get the anatomical shape, and mixing in minimal shoes like this. I know they're expensive, but even just going barefoot is okay. Like this, using this for weightlifting in the gym, using this for walking on the treadmill, when you're doing lighter workouts or walking days, this will just help overall, like doing your leg days, doing your arm days. This is like different muscles of the leg day.
I saw an ad. I'm not sure if it's an ad or just a video. It didn't say what brand, but they put these shoes on. They had a thicker sole, but I didn't see what kind of technology they had. But apparently, this kid is like probably only like 5'6" or 7", really short. But he was playing basketball. Yeah, and he wore these shoes, and he kind of like just jumped, and it went because of the bounce. Yeah. He went way up, and he actually do a dunk.
It's possible, and this is one of the downsides of the barefoot movement, the barefoot cult, is that you actually become shorter because you don't have any more heel lift. You actually become shorter. So yeah, like if you're going out on a date or something like that, I probably wouldn't wear these, maybe, unless she wears them too. Maybe wear something with a lift so that you look taller. All right.
But
that's there's a lot of tech here. And it's just kind of hidden in fashion, in fitness and everything like that. But it's all there everywhere that we look, from minimal shoes to maximal shoes to the top end marathon shoes that use F1 technology with the carbon fiber weave and everything like that, to propelling people to 9.58 second 100 meters, all the way to 2-hour marathons. Kipchoge, that one, the Kenyan runner, he actually did break the record. He was actually under 2 hours at this one race, but it wasn't a sanctioned course, but he did do the distance under 2 hours. Crazy. Absolutely amazing. And, you know, Kenyan runners, they start off their life running barefoot.
Oh, yeah. And again, their bodies are wired differently because they're, you know, whether it's the, you know, body shape or the way the metabolism works, it's all to do with that kind of stuff as well. Yeah. So, and if you're not that kind of, that type of body type, then you need training. So you just don't jump into a 26-mile marathon. You need at least a couple of weeks training, get your body used to it, know how you run.
Or better yet, because we are so used to having shoes that are constantly binding our feet, maybe just finding a shoe that's the next width up might give you the relief that you need. Maybe toe socks, might be something that you need to kind of check out for yourself. They feel weird initially. Why not? Toe spacers, why not? These are cheap. Like this is $12. These are $20 at most. And they're a cheap way to kind of help you with your foot health, kind of let you ask questions and kind of give you back that sensation of the ground that you never had before since you were a kid.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Definitely. That's all I really want to say about that. And I hope that, Barefoot cult people won't be offended. I'm trying to help you guys have a better message here, right? It's not about all or nothing. And somewhere in between, there's so many shoes for so many different people. Even people that have had chronic knee issues, this is still not the magic pill. You will have to do the work yourself.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Definitely. If you're having problems with your knee or ankle or feet, whatever, it's probably more than likely 90% sure is to do with your shoe type.
Or the way that your feet
I had a problem with my feet once time. Again, it wasn't corns, it was something else. And the shoe I was wearing was really tight. Tight because it had to be, because it was one of those things for work.
Okay.
Turns out that it was the actual problem. So I swapped it out, wear something different, and the problem went away.
I can vouch for that. A lot of the dress shoes are not good to our feet. Yeah. And the minute that's why a lot of very, very smart women, the minute that they leave work, they're in flats.
Yeah.
Immediately.
So they usually carry a pair of, sneakers, whatever, go to work. And then when they end work, they change it over. And then at the end of work, they change it back. And then,
They wear those shoes. Then they change to their flats. Then by the time they get home, then they put on their running shoes. They go for a run because their feet have deflated.
Those pointed high heels, right?
What we do for fashion these days. All right, so that's everything for us on feet, and I hope that people that are fetishy don't really think that this is about feet. This is about your health. Okay, this is about your health, your prosperity in the year of the dragon. Thank you so much for watching this week, and don't forget to subscribe to us because we are a YouTube exclusive video podcast. So catch us every Wednesday at noon for a brand new episode. This is our first episode back from the Year of the Dragon celebration, and we hope to have a few more episodes. And don't forget, you actually motivate us to create shows, and your feedback is so important.
That's
so
right.
if you leave a comment below, we both read them.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So you can affect the direction of the show. And if you enjoyed the show, let us know. If you have questions, let us know. Until next time, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.